Hi there, this is Lee Thurburn, and today I'm visiting with Carlos Roncal, who is the president and owner of actually more than one business. His primary business is World Language Schools, but he also owns the Frisco International School. Hi, Carlos. Thanks for joining us today. Um, so what exactly do
Good
your
morning.
schools teach?
All right, that's a very good question. Okay, so it's a little bit of a fancy thing too. World Language School, I started that school in 2012. So I've been operating that school, and we teach languages to adults and school-age children, right? So that's the primary. So we are in the LSP industry, language services providers.
Okay.
And as language services providers, there's four things that an LSP does. So the first one is instruction. So we teach students a language, whatever language in the world they need. And then the second thing is we do interpretations and translations, and then we do localizations. So those four things are the main things that the LSP company will provide. But go ahead.
What's a localization, Carlos?
Okay, let me give you an example. For example, we just translated a book written by a doctor. It's a motivational self-help book, right? And so he wrote the book in English, and we have to put it in Spanish, and we have to put it into Portuguese. All right. So the doctor will use a lot of English idiomatic expressions. He will say, he kicked the bucket, or he has thin skin. Well, if we translate he has a thin skin, doesn't mean anything in Spanish or Portuguese. Or if you say he kicked a bucket, I don't know what that means. In English, we know what it means, but in Spanish or Portuguese, they won't know what I'm talking about. And there's a lot of those idiomatic expressions. So what you have to do as a master in both languages, you have to think, okay, what does it mean in English, he kicked the bucket? Can I find a similar expression in Portuguese? Can I find a similar expression in Spanish, right? In Portuguese. So for example, if I say, I hang my tennis shoes, what does that mean to you? I hang my tennis shoes. Or he hang his tennis shoes, right? That means, what does it mean in English? You're hanging your tennis shoes. In Spanish, it means he died. The same expression as he kicked the bucket. So I can't say he kicked the bucket. I have to say it in Spanish, he hung his tennis shoes. So that's all localization, right?
Interesting. Okay. So it's more than just translations. It's actually understanding the intent of the translation and translating the intent as well as the words.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you have to be master at both the English language and the Spanish language, because then you can say, hey, how do they say kick the bucket in Portuguese or in Spanish? So.
Okay, so Carlos, your classes, where do you teach your classes? Do you have an office, a school in Texas, or or do you do it online, or I mean, how does that work?
Okay, good. Yeah, we have an office. We use the Venture X, which is a building in Frisco. It's a 3-story building, and we have share space. So that gives me the chance to have 1 or 2 classrooms, or if I need 2 more classrooms, I'll just add them as I need them. So I don't have a fixed overhead. If I need less, then I do less classrooms. So my classrooms right now, they only take like 5-6 students. We got plenty of space. And so that's one modality. The other modality is online, and then all blended. Like I have a student right now who's taking Portuguese. He wants 2 times a month in the classroom and the rest of the time online. So it's blended, right? And yeah, so we also have collaboration with other schools in China, in Spain, in South America. So they will do online teaching for Italian. I just hired an Italian teacher in Italy, in Milano, Italy, and she does it online. But then I have the problem of time differences. Like she's 7 hours ahead, so I have to schedule the student in Frisco to be early enough so that she's not sleeping, right? So yeah, we have those three modalities, and we have great tools nowadays to communicate. So we're making use of all the tools.
You know, speaking of tools, I hear a lot of companies advertising Berlitz and Babbel and I think others. How do you differentiate yourself in the market? You got some big competitors out there. What makes you better? What makes you different?
Well, first of all, I don't think I have competitors. I don't have competitors. I have to tell you, we have very personalized lessons. So you are a business person, right? So you come and take lessons from us. We're not going to give you the typical Berlitz or Duolingo. We're not going to give you that, right? We are going to make a very specialized curriculum that's going to address business terms, ways of doing business in the Spanish-speaking countries or whatever the language, and it's going to be your vocabulary is going to be for business. If you are an attorney, we're not going to give you vocabulary for nurses, right? It wouldn't make sense. And Berlitz and the junior college, they cannot do that. They have to follow the curriculum, right? So I taught at a public school, and that's one of the reasons I decided to start my own company, because I saw that need, right? There's a specific need that if you are a golfer and you have to travel to play golf, well, you need to know the vocabulary of a golfer. Try telling that to Rosetta Stone or Duolingo. Hey, I want golfing vocabulary. So that's the big difference. That's our business model, which I don't think there's anybody out there. So I really don't think I have competition.
So instead of having standardized programs that are canned, you customize pretty much each program to the individual needs of your client, which differentiates you. Okay.
That's right. Yes, to the individual needs. So we've taught construction companies. Right now we have a contract with a manufacturing company. They're heavy manufacturing. They do a lot of metal and axles for trucks. And then we have some business people. We have bankers. We have real estate people, and they're all different, customized, right? Now, for the main thing, like the beginning, you still have to learn the numbers. You still have to know how to say good morning. You have to learn the days of the week, the months, the basic stuff. Everybody has that. So we are more, we prefer to take students when they're like intermediate or advanced level, but if you want to learn the basics, yeah, just use Rosetta Stone, Duolingo, all the videos. They got lots of videos on YouTube. But yeah, plus, we're coaches. We're going to tell you, we're going to be on the sideline saying, hey, you need to score this way, or, you need to go this way, or you need to go that way, or you're going straight. So we are very, very, personalized coaches. We're not going to say, hey, like I see a lot of videos that say, hey, yeah, we give you 1,000 courses, 1,000 lessons, and boom, you get all these videos. And then, ask the question to a video. I don't think you can ask a question to a video. If you want to.
Yeah, they're not smart enough yet. Who knows? But yeah, so no, I understand. So you have personalized, real interactions with humans as opposed to a library of videos. So people get the richness of a human interaction.
That's right.
As well. So you're really more focused on people that have gotten past the how are you, where's the bathroom, I'd like to order a beer, and days of the week. You're really working more with people that need a more personalized, higher level sort of experience, right?
That's right. Yeah, because one of the visions when I started with school, I started working with small business, and I would say, hey, why don't we do business in Brazil? Why don't we do business in France? And it was because the large companies, AT&T, they have a staff of international. So, because I had been in international for many years. So I figure a lot of the small businesses, they didn't know where to start. And I started thinking, I said, well, Cole, the first thing that you need to do international business, you need to learn the language, or somebody in your company has to be conversant in that language. So after you get to a level where you're conversant, then you can do business in that other country, in that language. You can do business in France, Germany, Japan, Brazil, wherever, right? So that was the intent. The intent was to give you the first step to do business, learn the language, and then learn how to do business. How do they do business in Brazil? It's different from anywhere in the world. You know, how do you do business in France? It's different. So then you do that, and then you can start doing business in that country, you know, because that was the main intent. Because, you know, I'm an international educator, and I've been living in different countries. I've worked in different countries. I understand different culture, different ways of doing business. So that's really what, you know, what motivates me, is to see the students, you know, adults and young school-age students start getting an idea of how it is to do business, to live in our big world, right? What I tell them is, if you are doing business in the United States, well, you're missing out on 3 times. You're leaving money on the table, because the world market is 4 times as big, and you have to be doing business outside of the United States. I mean, the United States is a huge market, no question about that. But if you're not doing business around the world, you're leaving money on the table. In many countries, a lot of Americans, the way we do business, we're the #1 marketers in the world. We have huge, very good products. In Latin America, people would rather buy Tylenol than, you know, the local. So that's part of the intent. So yeah, that's a lot of differences.
So talk to me a little bit about, you mentioned translation and some other services. Tell me about those other services again, and who needs those services? I mean, talk a little bit about those.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. We did there was a company that was suing another company in France. So if you're going to sue, if you're an American company, you're suing the company and it's French, so you have to go to the international court in the Netherlands. And if you go to the international court in the Netherlands, you have to file your complaint in French. So we translate that complaint in English to French, and it gets presented in French in the Netherlands, right? And that's for attorneys. So attorneys are, you know, beautiful clients for us. Okay, so that's translation. So if an attorney has a deposition, and that deposition is with somebody that doesn't speak English as their first language, and they were in a car accident and now they have to be deposed, well, so we say, you need to have that person deposed in Chinese. We'll give you the Chinese interpreter, right? So we'll give them the Chinese interpreter, right? And then, of course, we're translating a book into Spanish and English, and we have to translate, and at the same time, like I explained, we have to localize it, right?
Okay.
A real dream project right now would be to translate a movie. Boy, that would be, you know, that would be hard. It'd be challenging, and I'm still looking to do that. Or even translate video games. I'm looking into video games. How do you translate video games, you know? It's not easy, so it's very challenging, and that's where we're headed right now.
Carlos, talk a little bit about Frisco International School. Tell me what that project is and what it's all about.
Right. Okay. So Frisco International School, again, it's an international school, and then I call it a 21st century school, which means we are in the 21st century, right? Our school systems were designed over 150 years ago, you know, for the Industrial Revolution. You have a batch, it goes to the next stage, the bell rings, you go to the next stage, you know, it's an industrial type design of our educational system. You know, when I was in college, I had to walk to my 3-story building, go to the library, check out my book on international geography, take it home, study it, you know, take notes, and then take it back to the school in a week or so. So it took me 1 week to find out something about international geography, right? Now my students can do the same thing in less than 10 minutes, right? You just type it into your phone and you do the research and you're done. So 21st century schools, you don't need classrooms. You don't need bells. You don't need teachers in front of you for 90 minutes. There's no need to, right? So you need creative spaces. 21st century students, they need to learn how to communicate, not just in English, another language. They need to be creative, right? How come Sears went out of business and Amazon didn't? Because Amazon was creative, right? You need to learn how to collaborate, or you need to learn how to be critical thinker. These things that you sit for an hour in a math class, and then you go to the history class, and then go to the English class, and it's all separate. The world is not separate. Everything is together, right? Like this morning, we were talking about math and finance and business, everything together, right? So you have to critical think. So 21st century schools have to be thinking, critical thinking, no more classrooms, no more bells, no more summer vacation where we have to go and cut the fields because our parents were farmers 100 years ago. And then we have summer vacation. We never got rid of summer vacation. Public schools still have summer vacation. I don't think kids are going to go cut the fields, but it's a mess. For me, it was a mess because my students came back in September and they forgot half of what I taught them. So, 21st century has totally changed things. And that's what Frisco International School is all about.
Folks, if you want to learn more about either World Language Schools or the Frisco International Schools, there's a link download this video that will take you to where you can get more information and get to those websites, as well as a phone number where you can call Carlos. Carlos, thank you for your time today.
Sure, yeah, it was fun. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And folks, give Carlos a call if you want to learn a language. He's the man, Professor Carlos Roncal. Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias. Bye.